The White House says it is working to reschedule an Israeli delegation's visit to Washington to discuss Israel's planned offensive in Rafah. Earlier this week, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu abruptly canceled the visit after the U.S. abstained from a UN vote calling for an immediate ceasefire, allowing it to pass. In a meeting with a bipartisan group of U.S. lawmakers in Jerusalem yesterday, Prime Minister Netanyahu downplayed concerns over an offensive.
Victory is within reach. It's a few weeks away. Now we are told, this is it, last point. Now we are told, you can't do this. If you go into Rafah, you're going to have a humanitarian catastrophe. You're going to have, 30,000, all of the Gaza Strip north of Rafah. People move down, they can move back up. They don't have to go into north of Wadi Gaza, but there's still 65% of the Gaza Strip left open. And people just move. They move with their tents.
Those comments come as President Biden continues to face domestic pressure over his handling over the war. As the president is holding that fundraiser we talked about at Radio City, about 50 protesters braved the elements in nearby Bryant Park. And yesterday, a State Department official resigned in protest, citing U.S. diplomatic and military support for Israel. We'll have more from the White House in just a moment. We begin on the ground with NBC's Sanchez in Israel.
Just days after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu very publicly canceled a trip to Washington by a delegation of senior Israeli officials, he is now quietly trying to reschedule those meetings. Those talks were supposed to be about this very public disagreement between Israel and the United States over Israeli plans to launch a major ground offensive in the city of Rafah. Netanyahu says that is the only way to destroy Hamas, but the Biden administration has been very clear. It believes any attack on Rafah in a large-scale manner would be a disaster, would lead to major civilian casualties, and to the disruption of humanitarian aid flowing into Gaza. Now, whether American officials at this rescheduled meeting will be able to change Israeli minds remains unclear. The U.S. believes Israel can achieve its goals in a more targeted, more surgical set of strikes on Rafah. But every indication from the Israeli side is they are determined to go in. Now, amid this public feud between the White House and the Netanyahu government, a new poll from Gallup shows that 55% of Americans disapprove of Israel's military operation in Gaza. That is the first time this poll has found a majority of Americans disapproving. And it comes amid what is an increasingly public set of strains in the U.S.-Israel relationship. While all eyes are on Gaza, there was more fighting over the Israel-Lebanon border over the last couple of days. Israel striking what it said was a senior operative in a militant group aligned with Hezbollah. Hezbollah firing back, killing a civilian in a town in northern Israel yesterday. And among the many concerns among Israeli officials is that this one-front war right now in Gaza could spread to a second front up in Lebanon.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.